Hey, I'm Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter, and I'm walking you through the 7 C's of a sales hunter mindset. This is an 8-part series, and what I'm doing is I'm taking each one of the C's and breaking them apart. I went through the first 7, first video. Last week I went through clarity. Today I'm going through consistency. Now, here's the thing. I want you to look at consistency, and I want you to look at it through several different lenses. First of all, let's look at consistency through how you manage your time. The most successful salespeople are the ones who are absolutely consistent with their time. I get to work with some absolute top performers in a number of industries. People who are rocking it and commanding massive, massive paychecks. And they all tell me one thing. They say, Mark, our lives are really quite boring because we're absolutely consistent with how we use our time. They're disciplined. They're absolutely, they're dialed in and they know exactly what to do, when to do it, and they don't deviate from it. One guy tells me, he says, every morning at 9 o'clock, this is exactly what I'm doing. Every morning at 10 o'clock, this is exactly what I'm doing. The only deviation is if I happen to be on the road, period. Stop and ask yourself this question. Are you consistent? Because when you create consistency, it's amazing how it becomes repetitious. Consistency also spreads itself through in terms of how you prospect. I see too many people, what they do is they prospect, but they make a bunch of phone calls and then they never come back and follow up. Yeah. They have one sales call, but they're not consistent in their follow-up. You see, here's the whole thing. The sale is made in the follow-up. It's not made on the first call. It's made in the follow-up. And you got to stop and ask yourself, are you demonstrating consistency in your follow-up? Now, we've seen hundreds and hundreds. There's so many surveys out there, studies, it makes your head spin. But, you know, the average customer buys after, 6 calls or 8 calls. But the average salesperson gives up after 3 or 4, whatever it is. I don't know what the numbers are. But here's the whole thing. I'm going to venture to say that you are not being consistent enough. Now, don't sit there and say, Mark, I don't have enough information to share. That's your problem. Because you haven't taken the time to develop the information to share. See, every time I reach out to a customer, I'm giving them new insights. I'm giving them new messages. And as long as I'm bringing them value, I can reach out to them. Don't sit there and say, oh, I'm reaching out to them too often. I've called them 5 times and they're not interested, so they must not. No. I've had many people that I've called, reached out to numerous times, and they totally ignore me. But ultimately, they do come back and buy from me because they say, thank you for reaching out because you stayed. I just never had time to reach out to you. But I do want to talk with you. And now's the time I want to talk with you. Consistency. Ask yourself this question. Am I consistent in how I use my time, how I schedule my time? Am I consistent in how I stay engaged with my customers and how I follow up? And what does that mean? In both situations, you're using your CRM to set your focus. Hey, I'm Mark Hunter, the Sales Center, and I just walked you through the second C, consistency. Next week, I'm going to walk you through credibility. My name's Mark Hunter, the Sales Center. Make sure you're catching the entire series. Great selling.